I'm over here at the Chinatown Brasserie. I've been here a while back for a video bistro party, so I'm not entirely unfamiliar with the place. I'm going to try to work here if there is internet. I'm told there is. I'm not really sure who I'm sitting with.
It's been an exciting road trip for us, and I'm going to introduce to you in a moment Seth Goldstein, who's our CEO, but he actually came up with a vision, which he'll tell you about, for the business schools earlier this year, and we've been tweaking it as we go, pulling together panelists to hopefully educate you and connect you with other folks in the audience. Without further ado, let me go ahead and introduce CEO of SocialMedia.com, Seth Goldstein.
Good morning. So August of last year, August 15th, in San Francisco, we held, I don't think anybody here was there, including people on my team. We held AppDevCon, which was the Appsaholic Developers Conference happening. I was with someone the other day, and he was talking about Elle Magazine, and said that, Elle Magazine typically has one of the high, could be anybody, but in that category, but $20 CPM, and the assumption is that 4 million 20-something women are reading it, and it just dawned on me that any one of these successful applications on Facebook has a similar size audience of that demographic, and yet the effective CPM is probably not much more than 20 cents. So why does Elle Magazine command a $20 effective CPM, and a Facebook app or a series of apps command 1/100 or 1/1000th of that? You say, well, the magazine is it's tangible. You can feel it. It's a premium experience. I just don't buy it. I think that people are much more engaged with their friends in the application layer. There's an immediacy there, and I think the audiences that the magazine industry, for example, are quoting in terms of how many people are actually reading these magazines are totally inflated. So I think we'll see a shift of brand dollars into applications. It's going to take time. It may take, it's going to take years, not months. But we're trying to address that as well.
Albert with Contagion,
Metric
and
section
Matt
of
Scully
social
with
media.
SocialMedia. So welcome, guys. I'll go through, and we'll go through PowerPoint decks just to frame the dialogue. So from an analytics perspective, right, you invest a lot of time and money to acquire traffic and get people to your app. Core problem is, cool, you spend all this money, both on organic as well as paid traffic to get people to your app, but only a small number actually remain active users. And basically answering the essential question of why is that? And so from an analytics perspective, you want to be able to look at how can I better manage your acquisition channels, drive traffic into your app, both organic as well as paid. And then once you've got somebody on the app, how do I get them to install it more? And then once they're in the app, how do you actually get them to come back and use it so you can generate more page views so you can better monetize that traffic? Smattering of questions. I'm not going to read through all these in detail, but essentially they ask questions around how am I acquiring traffic? What are my conversion rates off of that traffic? How can I make that traffic viral? So if you're paying to acquire traffic, great. How can I get them to actually share it? So that way you put kind of the right side of this, right? Traditional sites, what are they interested in? Page views, uniques, referring traffic. Social media app, what are you interested in? Install rates? Active users? Yes, page view. Yes, unique. Also yes to refer. How can you profile people? Most sites, URLs outside of social media are profiling people really just around geographic parameters. You don't have other things and data points in social media like demographics. And also, as you'll hear from the panel, some social graphic data points you can use to actually profile your audience. Usage. traditional sites, time spent, entry, exit, pass off the website. How frequently are people coming back using things? Apps, sure, time spent, different app usage patterns, ways you can measure that, also use frequency. What are the important conversion events that you want to track? So again, outside of social media, if you're lead gen, form completes, if you're a retail site, purchases, maybe doing downloads, other stuff like that. Social media apps, you want to track install conversion rates. You got fan pages, friend interactions. Very different. This thing called virality. How do people share my app? How do they get the word out? Does it even exist, really, outside of social networks as a metric you want to track? Inside social networks, friend sharing. How do you measure the virality, the ability for people to actually share and communicate your app? And then last but not least, making money. So right now today, in the traditional world, you've got ads you can make money from, lead gen activities, purchases. Right now within social media, primary monetization method is through advertising. So for me, it was very enlightening just coming into social media and seeing the differences specifically around what you're trying to accomplish. Seen this, but I'll put it up here to make sure everybody's aligned. So when you're acquiring traffic, whether organic or through paid methods, you basically are casting out the net, bringing it in terms of people that are clicking on your messages, whether they're ads, friend feeds, whatever. That traffic comes in. With apps, your primary conversion rate is, or conversion event is an install. On average, we're seeing anywhere from 30 to 50% in our network on app install rates. And then those people got to come back, generate page views, work with the app, and you're monetizing those page views. So that's the conversion funnel that you're essentially working with in applications. I'll use this slide to start framing interaction with the panel. And this slide really just, it goes through the life cycle, if you will, of an app. So, you need to create the app first, you acquire, you activate, you retain, people refer, then you generate revenue. And then one of the things I learned from the panel, especially over the last 2 times we've done this, is analytics starts before you even create the app.
Mm-hmm.
And so, with that, Ian, before you even create an app, and I'm going to pass the microphone over to you guys, what are the things that you consider? Or how can you build in analytics to actually start setting up, so to speak, how you can measure audiences in that app?
Yeah. Can you guys hear me through this? Okay. So, like you're discussing, as you're building that application before launch, there's different hooks that you can put in there, analytics hooks, so that when it does go to launch, you can start measuring very quickly and start testing immediately to see what methods are working for acquisition and activation and so forth. So it's really trying to find an analytics solution. You can use multiple analytics solutions to start building in those hooks, to start tagging elements within your application that you can measure immediately. And that's very important.
Jane, anything else to add to that?
Yeah, sure. So one of the key differences, you're probably wondering, what is social media? What makes this so different? And for developer analytics, the emphasis really, as Eddie has mentioned, is the friend relationships. So at DA, we really think of the referral step as being key to anything. Even before you retain or activate or acquire users, what's different? People are on these social networks, they have these friend relationships. So from our point of view, moving the referral step forward and getting users to send out invitations and requests to their friends is most important. So one of the analytic metrics that we use to track this and viral growth of an application is what we call a K factor. So for each new user, for each user that has already added the app, how many new users is that user generating? So if you have a K factor of 1, your app essentially doubles. For every user that uses an app, he or she has successfully, invited